Yo, yo, yo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast. Talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Joey, we got Matthew, we got JMR, we got Juan, RWH, Spida, Michael, Juan. Appreciate you guys for being here. Definitely do me a huge favor. Smack up the like button on your way in. Subscribe. This is your first time here. We are on the road to 17K. Can't do it without you guys. Appreciate you guys for being in the chat. Today, we're going to be talking about who is realistically going to be available at 16 for the Arizona Cardinals to choose in the 2025 NFL Draft. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting 9 days away from the NFL Draft. 2025 NFL Draft. It's actually going to be set to the first round is going to be next Thursday. So boy, oh boy, we're going to find out here pretty soon who the Arizona Cardinals are going to choose. And anything's on the table. And I mean, anything's on the table right now for the Arizona Cardinals. But obviously, we're all kind of falling victim to what's going to happen with the first 15 picks, right? Cardinals aren't usually here in this position. I don't think we've been in this position for quite some time, picking in the middle of the draft, but I'm excited. I do think that there's going to be a lot of good defensive pieces here for the Cardinals. And of course, we're also going to talk about should the Cardinals go after a wide receiver at the 16th overall pick. I've already seen some chatter out there saying that that shouldn't be a thing. And I'm not going to lie to you, ladies and gentlemen, the Cardinals can go any which direction in the draft, and I think I would be very, very happy with it. But honestly, it's just it's time, man. It's time to allow Monty Ford to cook, and I'm very, very excited about it. So smack the like button on your way in, ladies and gentlemen. We do got the studio almost done. We got a few different touches here and there. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, if you guys were in the live streams last week. We got nothing but a blank wall, right? Blank wall, but now we're starting to kind of get things back and rolling again. So we got the AZ Sports fans sign up here. We got our helmets, right there. So a lot of things are hopefully coming down the pipeline. A couple different things. So we're getting there. Appreciate you guys for being here in the chat. We got my guy Alexis in the chat saying that setup is fire. Appreciate you, man. Well, thank you so very much. We are going to add maybe another helmet right here, Arizona Cardinal helmet right there. So it's still in the works. We are still trying to go through with it. Like I said, we started this channel probably 6 years ago. We've changed so many different studios because I've been moving, right? I've been playing the market here in Phoenix, Arizona, so it's only worked out to my favor. But, yeah, this is going to be the studio here for the time being. We will be getting another helmet to be in this specific spot, hopefully sooner rather than later. So I appreciate you guys for being here. I'm absolutely super, super excited about being here and talking about the 16th overall pick with you guys because, honestly, the Cardinals can go any which direction, and I'm excited about it, man. I really am. So appreciate all the love. Appreciate everybody for telling me that, so far it looks really good. Thank you so very much. I was a little self-conscious about it, but I'm excited about it at the same time. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about who realistically is going to be available here at the 16th overall pick for the Cardinals. I think at the end of the day, the Cardinals can go any which direction. Like, they really could. I've been tinkering around with the PFF mock draft simulator all freaking morning to really figure out who the Cardinals can or who can be available at the 16th overall pick. And it could be anybody, like legit anybody, right? And now I have Michael Williams here in the graphic because the Cardinals have met with Michael Williams. The Cardinals are still in need of a defensive lineman. Can they go this route? Can they go Kenneth Grant? Can they go James Pierce Jr., which is a guy that I really do like? But I get the concerns of character issues, might not be a Monty Ossenfort type of guy. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I do think that anything's on the table for the Cardinals. Can they go wide receiver? Anything's on the table. So for the people out there that are shutting down the wide receiver, talk, even if it's 10%, 11, 12%, it's on the table because if you really think about it, look at our wide receiving core, right? You got Michael Wilson, which I really, really do like, but it's still kind of a little bit of an unknown right there. Greg Dortch was brought back in for another one-year deal, but Zay Jones brought back as well. And then obviously Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have an absolute crazy breakout year. I can already kind of feel it right now. But, it could still very well use some sort of, another potential weapon here for current quarterback one, Kyler Murray. So anything's on the table right now for the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm just very excited, man. I'm very, very excited about what can happen here at the 16th overall pick. So I thought it would be pretty fun for us to obviously dive into mock draft simulators and kind of predict what's going to happen within the first 15 picks for the Cardinals. I'm sorry, for the first 15 picks of the NFL draft in 2025. I already kind of have an inkling as to what can potentially happen within the first 1 through 15, right? So we're going to be doing that right now. And we did kind of do something similar to this about a couple weeks ago, but I allowed you guys to do the draft via, live chat, and I got your guys' influence on that. This time around, I'm going to be telling you who I think is going to be going 1 through 15, and then see who's available. Now, please keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, one team can absolutely throw everything out of whack, and anything, a prospect could fall to 15 or 16. So for the people out there saying, oh, that guy won't be available there, keep in mind, we also said that about CD Lamb, right? CD Lamb fell to like the late teens. So you never know, man. You never know what's going to happen in the NFL draft. But overall, I think for the most part, the top 6 picks, I think I already kind of have a shoe in as to who I think is going to be those picks. Within the NFL draft. So let's go and just do that real quick so we can kind of get a gauge as who could potentially be available there at 16 for the Arizona Cardinals. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it, right? We're not going to waste too much time. If you disagree with me, definitely let me know here in the chat. But I do think Cam Ward's going to go number 1 overall. I don't think there's any debate about that as well. The Browns, there was some rumors back and forth about them potentially going after a quarterback. I think that's all smokescreens. I think they're going to go after Travis Hunter. Number 3, yes, they ended up going after Mr. Unlimited, but I still do think that the regime, they're going to go after Sanders. I think they're going to go after their quarterback of the future. Now, yes, their current GM as well as head coach, they might be in the hot seat. So this might be one of those things where they might have to take an Abdul Carter. But I don't know. I feel like they're going to be a little bit of influence by the ownership because they need to find a quarterback of the future. And think about it. Shedeur Sanders is probably one of those big names out there that will bring a lot of hype to the New York market. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be the pick here. I get the people that want Abdul Carter there. I could see both ways, but I do think that right now, thinking of it, I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be that number 3 pick. The number 4 pick, I do think it's going to be Abdul Carter right here. Just makes too much sense. Best defensive player on the defensive line player in this draft. So I got Abdul Carter here. I do got Mason Graham there. I do got Genty here for the 6th pick. So the Jets, I have them going Armand Mambu. I feel like it just makes too much sense. They got a right tackle right now that's an absolute liability. You can go ahead and slot Armand Mambu right there, and he's going to be a really good prospect for them. So they can shore up their offensive line. Now, can they go dart here? Yeah, the Jets can be the Jets and they can go dart here. Absolutely, they potentially can. But I don't know. I'm going to be thinking, more of a value pick. You don't go quarterback right here if you're the Jets. If they do, dang, that's the Jets being the Jets. But I'm going to give them some credit. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go Membu for them. I think the right tackle spot is going to be a very important piece for them to address, and that's what they're going to do here. I kind of go back and forth with this pick here. So the way that it falls, I say McMillan or maybe even Jalen Walker, which I still don't get why PFF has him ranked so darn low. But this is going to be an intriguing situation because they are in need of an edge rusher and a wide receiver. So it's really going to depend on where the Carolina Panthers feel like they're going to want to go here. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards a little bit of McMillan, a little over Jalen Walker. Biggest reason as to why is if you look at the current wide receiving core or just the weapons for Bryce Young, and although he's looked really good at the second part of the season, he needs help. He absolutely needs help. So in order for them to try to give him all the weapons they potentially can, I say they go after McMillan right here, specifically if he falls at this specific spot. I think Jalen Walker right now and McMillan seems to be the shoe-in here for the Carolina Panthers. And yes, there is rumors out there that they can potentially trade out of that spot for potentially anything to happen there, right? So I don't know. Right now, with the way that things are, I'm going to go with McMillan. I feel like they truly need to give a weapon over to Carolina and Bryce Young over there. So I know I keep going back and forth with Jalen Walker and McMillan, but I'm going to go McMillan just for the sake of where we're at. The Saints, I'm a little kind of. I go back and forth with the Saints. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really know exactly where to go here. I always favor defensive line for them. I just think defense. I think defense is going to be the number one thing that they're going to look for when it comes down to this team. So when it comes down to the Saints, I do believe maybe an edge rusher or an interior guy for the Saints. Walter Nolan literally is right here. So I think maybe Walter Nolan might be the pick for them. That or maybe Will Campbell. But for the sake of me not knowing too much about the Saints, but I think defense all the time, I might go Walter Nolan here. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's go Walter Nolan on over to the Saints. For the Bears right here. They went they revamped their offensive line. I would have chosen Will Campbell to them if they didn't go crazy with the offensive line pieces this last offseason in free agency. So for here in this sake, I know there's a lot of people that are mocking Shamar Stewart over uh to the Bears. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and mock Shamar Stewart over to the Bears. I just feel like it just makes sense. They had a top 30 visit with him, and it makes sense. So uh, we got the 49ers here. I'm kind of going back and forth between Will Campbell and Jade Barron. Sorry, Jade Barron. I'm kind of going back and forth within these two guys. I think that right here, they do have a lot of they're in need of help when it comes down to tackle. They really are. I think John A. Barron's going to be a really good pickup for them, or they can go defensive line. This is definitely something, that happens. So I think if the board falls the way that it falls right here, I'm just going to give them Will Campbell just because of obviously value. And there might be some 49er fans that are going to be upset with it, but it doesn't matter to me. I don't like 49er fans anyway, so it is what it is. Cowboys. We got the Cowboys here. I do think they're going to go wide receiver. They need wide receiver help. There are some people out there saying that Golden can be the guy for them, but I'm going to go over Luther Burton. I think Luther Burton is going to be a really good player in the NFL. He's going to be able to spread the field. I think it just makes too much sense. Then we got the Dolphins. I see a lot of people going Starks. I'm going to go Starks too. I'm not going to think about it too much. And then we got here, I'm going to give him Tyler Warren. I think it just makes too much sense. They got needs of tight end. He's best tight end or one of the best tight ends in the NFL. I'm going over to Tyler Warren. And then we're close. We're close. And then we got the Falcons. I think they're going to get one of the guys that I want personally. That's going to be one of the edge rushers that I feel like is going to be foolish to fall at this specific spot. Either James Pierce or Jalen Walker I have going right here. And for the sake of Jalen Walker should be a top 10 pick, I'm going to go with Jalen Walker here. Now, please keep in mind, I usually would have Jalen Walker going here to 8, but I'm favoring giving a weapon over to their franchise quarterback over that, but I usually do have Jalen Walker as a top 10 pick. I'm not crazy like PFF and just completely forgetting about him, but just kind of the way that the board fell, it just makes too much sense. And I don't know, I feel like Shamar Stewart makes more sense here with 10 as opposed to Jalen Walker. So this is the way that I have everything going. So let's look at the available prospects here for the Cardinals, and let's go ahead and take a look to see where you guys are at when it comes down to, just who we picked. Let's take a look here. Should have picked the kicker for the 49ers. Facts, man. Absolute facts. At facts. Milrow meeting with the Lambs and see. Ah, man, Izzy. That's interesting. That's interesting. All right. So here we go, right? Now, this is going to be kind of I believe, the state of where the Cardinals are going to have their players to choose from. Now, Will Johnson being here, there's a real possibility that he's not here, right? So like I said, mock drafts are a dime a dozen. The only ones I'm really, really confident with right now that I actually would put a bet on, is probably 1 through 7. Like, I'm legit. 1 through 7, I feel like I could confidently say I think I'm right there. All the other picks, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, it's all a toss-up, right? It's all a toss-up to feel like who you think could be available. So if just looking at the available guys right now for the Cardinals, you still got your top 2 wide receivers, your Emeka Buka, you got Matthew Golden. You got James Pierce Jr., which is a guy that I really do like. You got Kenneth Grant, which a lot of Cardinal fans really do like him. Will Johnson has picked up a lot of steam about potentially maybe even being available there at 16 for the Cardinals. Mike Green is a guy that I do like as a Cardinal fan, but I understand the people that are saying he's not a Monty guy. I do agree. Those SA allegations, it might be just a little too much for Monty Ossenfort to bypass. And at the end of the day, if they don't go Mike Green, I'm not going to be mad, right? But let's say, for example, Jahdae Barron is there, right? Let's say, for example, Will Johnson is there. Now, it's just going to really depend on how you feel about who the best cornerback in this draft is, right? So if you think the Cardinals can go cornerback, maybe they do become available here at 16. Now, Donovan Ozuraku has become more of a hot name since we've gotten closer to the draft. Kenneth Grant has always been there, being obviously the bat or the Robin to Mason Graham's Batman. But honestly, Kenneth Grant's a good player. He's a really good player. So you still got a lot of good players. I've seen a few people mock Kelvin Banks Jr. to the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know how I feel about it at 16 if the Cardinals decide to trade back and accumulate another third. I mean, I won't be mad at it at the end of the day, right? But there's some really good prospects that could still potentially be available for the Cardinals here at 16. Now, let's talk about this real quick, right? Because we've talked about the idea that should the Arizona Cardinals go wide receiver, right? Like I've seen people say, "Oh, the Cardinals shouldn't go wide receiver." Like you're out of your mind if you don't think that the Cardinals at least have some sort of inkling, maybe even if it's a 5 or 10% chance, right? There is at least a 5 or 10% chance that the Cardinals go wide receiver at 16. There is, believe it or not, there is, right? I wouldn't rule out wide receiver at 16. Now, do I put it at a 5 or 10% chance? Yes, I do. I do. I don't think it's like something that I'm favoring or I'm going to jump on my soapbox and say, yeah, the Cardinals need to go wide receiver. They need to do it. No, I don't think they need to. I think they're in a good spot with Michael Williams. I think they're in a great spot with Marvin going into his year 2. After those two guys, there seems to be a really big unknown. Now, I get it. There's some unknown with Michael Williams. I'm sorry, Michael Williams. Michael Wilson. I'm so sorry. Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. After Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr., there is a drop off when it comes down to the wide receiving core that we have. So, being the fact that there's some people out there that are mocking, Matthew Golden to the Cardinals or, potentially another wide receiver. And for the most part, I'm seeing a lot more Matthew Golden than I am anybody else. I'm not seeing Emeka Buka. I'm not seeing Luther Burton, anything like that. But I'm not going to rule it out, honestly. Do I think it's going to happen for the Cardinals? Probably not, right? If they are going to use a pick in the draft, it probably is going to be more of a third round pick or maybe who falls at second. But like, I'm going to say it's more of the mid round picks for the Cardinals if they do decide to choose and go the route of a wide receiver. You also got to think about it. The Cardinals went after multiple different wide receivers this offseason before the draft, right? They got Tristan Jackson, which is a guy I'm not really too familiar with, but they got Quez Watkins as well. They brought back Zay Jones, and then they brought back Greg Dortch as well. So whether you believe that the Cardinals can use an upgrade or not, I think if you look at it and the depth chart, we can use another wide receiver, another weapon for the current state of the quarterback one situation with Kyler Murray and giving him another weapon. But like I said, it's going to be more of a 5 to 10% chance, like maybe 10 to 15% chance that the Cardinals go wide receiver. But it really depends on who falls there, right? It really depends on who falls. But to me, right? The other 85% chance, it's going to go defensive line or trenches, right? Trenches or defensive line is really what I'm favoring as an Arizona Cardinal fan because I feel like if the Cardinals can go and get themselves a Michael, if the Cardinals can trade back and potentially get themselves a James Pierce Jr. because of the character concerns with James Pierce Jr., right? That would be great. Or maybe they go after a Kenneth Grant, right? Or maybe they go after a tackle, right? We don't know what's going to happen when it comes down to Jonah Williams. We don't know. We don't know. So who truly is going to be available there at the 16th overall pick? Well, look, right? We just did this real quick little mock draft here, and we still got a lot of great prospects still available on the board right here, right? Donovan Ozuraku, you got Kenneth Grant, Will Johnson might potentially still available, but like I said, the only guys that I feel very confident with in this current mock draft that I did this morning is probably picks 1 through 7. That's the only confident picks that I have right here, 1 through 7. 8 through 15, they can go any which direction. They can go any which direction when it comes down to it, man. Honestly, I think at the end of the day, where the Cardinals are picking at 16, man, we can get a real good, impactful player, and depending on who falls, right? And that's the thing, too. Like, let's say, for example, McMillan does not go 8. Let's say it is Jalen Walker, which is my 1A, 1B, right? Let's say Jalen Walker goes 8, right? Maybe McMillan falls to 16, right? Maybe or maybe Cowboys do go after McMillan at 12, right? It just depends on who gets chosen. There is teams that like to throw a wrench in people's plans. There is teams out there like the Atlanta Falcons of last year that got themselves Michael Penix with the 8th overall pick, right? I don't think anybody mocked Michael Penix to be a top 10 pick. Nobody did, right? Nobody did. And then he went. So the only confidence that I have is probably picks 1 through 7. Like that's it. That's the only confidence that I have. Anything else can be an absolute toss up for the Arizona Cardinals. But there's still a lot of great prospects, y'all. A lot of great prospects. Let's take a look. We got a super chat coming in here. We got my guy Michael Evans coming up here with the clutch $2 donation. Appreciate you, man. He says, Mike, are you going to be live with? Yes, I will be, 100%. So thank you so very much for the super chat. He asks, am I going to be live during the draft? Absolutely, 110%. Yes, I will be. I haven't been in the past couple of years because I had other plans outside, but this time around, it's full content all the way in. So we will be reacting live to the draft in 2025 together. So if you do not have a place to go, or if it's a little too hot for you to go to the Great Lawn and you don't have a buddy to go with, jump onto the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. You always got a buddy here to always chop it up with. So, yes, I will be live on draft day to see who the Cardinals pick with the 16th overall pick. Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate the donation, Michael. Absolutely. But yeah, anything, man. Anything's on the table. Now, let's talk about this real quick, right? Let's talk about this real quick. The Arizona Cardinals right now, in the situation that they're currently in, I'm not sure if anybody is a fan of the radio still, but obviously, a source that I like to listen to a lot still is Arizona Sports. And they ended up having Mel Kiper on Arizona Sports earlier this morning. And of course, the question was asked about Cam Skattebo because believe it or not, every time we have a live stream, there's somebody talking about Cam Skattebo. There's always somebody talking about Cam Skattebo. Always. So the question was asked to Mel Kiper, which is, if you want to take what he says to heart, you can. But I understand that people that are like, oh, he's nuts. Okay. Well, I mean, opinions are opinions, right? But they were asking him about Cam Skattebo and where he feels like he could potentially be going in the 2025 NFL draft. And he came out and said, honestly, Cam Skattebo is one of those guys that like he still doesn't know to the day like where you know that he could potentially go, right? Where he could potentially go in the 25 NFL draft. Now, the reason why we're talking about Cam Skattebo is because obviously there's a lot of Cardinal fans that want to get Cam Skattebo, and there's some people out there that want Cam Skattebo at the expense of using a second or a third round pick for Cam Skattebo. I'm not one of those guys personally, but there is people out there that feel like you got to go after him. All right, right? He's an ASU legend already. What he's done in that offense is absolutely amazing. I get all of it, man. I really do. Um, give me 1 second. All right, perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so he was asked earlier this morning about, where he projects Cam Skattebo to go in the 2025 NFL draft, and he actually ended up coming out and saying he can see. Now, please keep in mind this is a projection, right? Nobody that says anything during the football season is a god, including myself. There's no way to predict what's going to happen 1 through 15. That's why we can only kind of go based off of what we feel like is going to happen, right? And that's the situation that Monty Ford is in right now, where he just we're just going on a hope and prayer that we have some players that we can still hope that they're going to be there, but at the end of the day we don't know, right? We don't know truly what's going to happen. So he was asked about Cam Skattebo where he feels like he could potentially go. Mel Kiper said that he can see Cam Skattebo go maybe somewhere in the mid-round picks. He said maybe a late third round pick or an early fourth round pick. Now, here's the question, right? Here's the question. If Cam Skattebo is there, right? If Cam Skattebo is there at the fourth round, right? I'm cool with going Cam Skattebo at the fourth round. And I understand. We got Trey Benson in the third round pick last year. I get it. But if he's there at the fourth round pick and the Cardinals are picking, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Now, another scenario where we talked about this a little yesterday, right? If the Cardinals somehow trade that 16th overall pick to recoup another third round pick, I'm okay with that second third round pick being Cam Skattebo, right? But right now, if the Cardinals decide to stay with the draft picks that they currently have, honestly, I feel like there's just a little bit more priorities than going a running back that obviously I know a lot of us here in the desert, in the valley, we all really like him, but I don't know. I just don't want the Arizona Cardinals to overdraft on somebody in the second round or even in the third round if they keep their current picks situation right now going after a guy because, we love ASU, right? I don't want to buy into that thing, but like I said, per Mel Kiper, and he even said it himself, he has a hard time predicting in where he's going to go. But he said maybe a late third round pick, maybe an early fourth round pick. It's probably where he sees Cam Skattebo go. If that's truly the case, and that if he's there, Why not take a flyer? Why not take a flyer on a Cam Skattebo, right? Why not take a flyer on Cam Skattebo with the a fourth round pick? The problem is I don't see him being there, man. I really don't see him being there. I really don't. I don't see Cam Skattebo being there with the third round pick. I feel like the 49ers are going to get him. Like, I have a really strong inkling that the 49ers are going to go Cam Skattebo. I don't know why. Something's telling me that they're going to go Cam Skattebo. So for the people out there that want him, I'm not gonna come out here and say no, you shouldn't want him, because I do agree with what you guys are saying. Like, he seems to be a really good player, and of course, because ASU, the ties with the with the Valley, it makes more sense as to like why the heck not. But it just depends, man. It really depends here at the end of the day. So if the Cardinals trade back, recoup another third, then I'm cool with it in the third. If they don't do that, then I'm cool with it in the fourth. But is he going to be there at the fourth, right? Is he going to be there at the fourth? I don't think so, man. I really don't. I don't think so. A Mailman Hall of Fame says, give me wide receiver Golden at 16. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Well, that's the thing, right? We talked about this a little earlier. Don't rule out a wide receiver at 16. Don't rule it out. For people out there that is telling you, oh, they shouldn't go wide receiver, look at the current state right now where the Arizona Cardinals are at with the wide receiving core, Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr. Those are the only two guys that I feel confident going into 2026. The only two guys that I feel confident going into 2026 with right now. The only two guys. But like I said before, they are running it back with Greg. They are running it back with Zay. They did bring some other guys like Quez and Tristan Jackson, which they haven't really amounted to very much. I do like Xavier Weaver out of Boulder. Maybe he gets an opportunity if the Cardinals don't go any direction. I would like to see Xavier Weaver. That would be kind of cool to see if the Cardinals did something like that and finally gave him any opportunity to shine. But honestly, I would say don't rule it out, right? Even if it's a 5 or 10% chance, do not rule it out. Don't rule it out. I think the Cardinals could go any which direction when it comes down to it. I really do. Jesse, what's up, brother? We got my guy Jesse in the chat here. Skattebo universally is loved and hyped by all fan bases. I don't get it. I think he's mid, so mid as a prospect. Well, that might be the case, right? That might be the case when it comes down to it. But also, so like for ASU fans, right? For ASU fans, what Cam Skattebo has done in this last year, especially in the playoffs, is very, very unheard of. So I get the ASU hype, right? I get the ASU hype, and especially here in the Valley, you have a very certain diehard group of fans that it's small, right? It's not as big as other fan bases, but that's why Cam Skattebo's talked a lot amongst the Cardinals fan base. I do think he's going to be a really good player, but it depends on where he's going to, right? Like, do you see him shine with the Cardinals when you got James Conner and Trey Benson there, right? I don't know. I almost kind of feel like you're going to draft him to not give him the opportunity. Like, Cam Skattebo needs to go somewhere that he's going to get the opportunity to be that number one guy, right? And for the 49ers, you guys still have McCaffrey. You guys still have a Garendo, right? And you got rid of the other good Mason, which is pretty weird. But that's the thing. Cam Skattebo is going to need to go somewhere that he's going to shine, right? Or at least shine. I think he's going to be a good player. I really do. It's just you can't draft him and he's going to be your number 3 running back, right? Especially, and that's one of the main reasons why I don't want the Cardinals to use a second round pick or a third round pick on him, because like at the end of the day, like come on, Cardinals. Like, I don't think they're going to do it, but like Cardinal fans really need to think about it. We got James Conner, which is obviously your workhorse. And if you can stay healthy, he's going to be your workhorse. And you got Trey Benson that has had flashes here and there. So I like the Cam Skattebo thing. I really do. It's just you got to be strategic with it. But I kind of agree with my guy, Jesse here. There's a lot of hype around him, man. There's a lot of hype around Skattebo. So he might be overdrafted. But per Mel Kiper earlier this morning on the radio, Arizona Sports, he projects Cam Skattebo to go late third or early fourth. You want to use a 4th round pick? I'm cool with it, man. You want to use a 4th round pick? I'm cool with it. Honestly, at the end of the day, I think the Cardinals can go any which direction here. And just like my guy in the chat said, give me Matthew Golden at 16. I mean, well, if the Cowboys don't go Matthew Golden at 16, at 12, there can be a real possibility that Matthew Golden's there. There could be a real possibility that Matthew Golden is there at 16. Do I feel like the Cardinals are going to go there? Probably not. I'm leaning defensive line if I'm going to be real. I think defensive line is still going to be the pick at 16 or even just offensive trenches just in general. But, don't rule it out, man. Don't rule it out. I don't think it's going to be one of those things that the Cardinals, um, like, I'm favoring defensive line personally and trenches. It's just don't rule it out. That's all I'm saying. Even if it's a 5 to 10% chance, don't rule it out. That's all I'm saying. So let's go back here. Who's going to be available right now with the 16th overall pick? We did a little mock draft earlier this morning, and who can be available. And this is kind of what we came up with. Now, like I said before, the only ones I'm really confident with the picks that we did are in this mock draft, and I didn't have your guys' help. I just did it myself. I just wung it live on here. The only ones I'm confident in is probably picks 1 through 7. Like, that's it. Anything else can be a toss-up. Like, McMillan can easily be Jalen Walker, right? Walter Nolan can easily be another defensive lineman, right? Shamar Stewart can be easily another defensive lineman, right? And I went Will Campbell just based off value and where we had here a number 11 because they are in need of a tackle. So that's why I went Will Campbell here based off value. Wide receiver can be here at 12, right? Malachi Starks, I see a lot of people mocking. Just makes too much sense. They don't have their safety that they lost this the offseason. And then Tyler Warren. And then Jalen Walker here at 15. So it could be a toss-up, man. There's a lot of good players still available right now. I understand that people that are saying Jahdae Barron's going to go in the top 10. I can see that as well. I can see Jahad Campbell going in the top 10. I can see Will Johnson being in the top 10. But yeah, man, mock drafts right now, it's mock draft season and it's a dime a dozen, right? That's just one thing that we all got to understand. Mock draft season, everybody's got their opinion and we're going to have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. But we're going to get that answer soon. We're going to get that answer soon, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be getting it here pretty soon, which is going to be next Thursday. And it usually starts around 5 p.m. Arizona time, 5 or 6 p.m. Arizona time. But I got to confirm to figure out when that is. But we will be live during that time to obviously react to what happens with the first 15 picks and the 16th overall pick to the Arizona Cardinals as well. So we got D West in the chat saying, how do you guys feel about Donovan Jackson or Tyreek Williams? Second round pick. Yeah, I think they're solid. I think they're solid players. I think they can be really good players for the Cardinals. When it comes down to it, I'm cool with it. Second round picks, I'm cool with it. Eddie in the chat says, guys, James Conner has never played a full season. Fair. Fair. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And that's one of those things too, right? That we always kind of go back to, right? But that's the thing. You have James Conner. I mean, he was able to stay healthy a good amount of this last season, not the full season, but he was able to stay healthy a good amount of this last season. So, I mean, he's only getting older. So, like I said, I could see the players or the people that would love to get Cam Skattebo, but it's not going to be in the place of overdrafting still, in my personal opinion. Like, you can't, man. You can get a running back in the 4th round, even if it's not Skattebo. There's just a really good running back draft class. It really is. So if the Cardinals are worried about that, of James Conner staying healthy, get another running back. Like in the late rounds. It's just you can't get Cam Skattebo just based off of value. Based off of value, the first 1 to 2nd picks. Sorry, the first round, 2nd round, and 3rd round picks, unless the Cardinals did decide to trade back with that first round and accumulate another 3rd. I just don't see the Cardinals going Cam Skattebo in the 3rd round. I really don't. If they trade back the 16th overall to recoup another 3rd, then okay, I could see Cam Skattebo going at that 2nd, 3rd round pick, right? But if he's there at 4, yeah, I mean, I say take a flyer. And go after him for sure. But you got to make sure that your first 1, 2, 3 picks are going to be able to give you solid production in year 1, right? You got to make sure that happens. Now, obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. gave us solid production this last year. Darius Robinson could have given a solid production if obviously the passing of his mother didn't happen, the re-aggravation of his calf injury, right? All these things kind of, stacked up against Darius Robinson, but we're all expecting him to take a big jump, right? And then the years prior, going back, continue to talk about that same, I mean, Max Melton, I mean, he didn't do great, but I mean, he also wasn't terrible, but I'm hoping he takes the next step and he's going to be better for the Cardinals as well at the cornerback position. And then we had 4 3rd-round picks? We had 4 3rd-round picks, and a lot of them did not really do very much, right? we've seen flashes of Trey Benson. Unfortunately, he got hurt at the end of the season, but he was always going to be running back two to James Conner. Let's be real. Uh, Elijah Jones out of Boston College, was on IR all year. Tip Ryman did not really get a lot of production from him. I mean, he was more of a blocking tight end than anything, but production was not really great. And there was a couple penalties on him, whether it was his fault or not, he got the blame for it, right? And then you also got Isaiah Adams, 4 third-round picks last year, and we didn't really get the production that we were hoping that Garrett Williams was, right? Or even Michael Wilson was. Like, we need to make sure that these first picks in the draft, first round, second round, third round, they're going to be big staple points for the Cardinals. That's what we got to make sure. Absolutely got to make sure. So, AZ Cards Fest says, has everyone forgotten Elijah Jones, by the way? Generally wondering what people think of him. Nobody knows. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. Elijah Jones got hurt in the beginning of the season, and he was hurt throughout the entirety of the year. I'm excited about him. I'm excited about him getting the opportunity. I really am. I'm excited about him getting the opportunity. I truly, truly am. It's just one of those things that, like, what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? Can he truly get a starting position when you got Garrett Williams going into his year 3 and already getting into the groove of things, and he's starting to be probably our best cornerback? You got Max Melton that used a second-round pick on. You got Sterling Thomas V, which was a really good waiver wire claim pickup, right? So, yeah, Elijah Jones can be really good. It's just, how is he going to get the production? How is he going to get the playing time when you also do got Sean Murphy-Bunting there as well? And Sean Murphy-Bunting, for as much as guff as he gets, right, including because I give him a lot of SHIT as well, he's not as bad as Marco Wilson was. Marco Wilson was pretty darn bad. Yeah, Marco Wilson was not great. Sean Murphy-Bunting is not that level as bad. He had a couple games that he's played pretty well, but obviously I think a lot of people want to see a lot of these younger guys. So that's the thing. Elijah Jones could be good, but where's the playing time going to come from? Is it going to come from the expense of Sterling Thomas V? Is it going to come from the expense of our second round pick Max Melton, Garrett Williams, Sean Murphy-Bunting? Probably Sean Murphy-Bunting, but you got to put the best 11 on the field. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you got to put the best 11 on the field. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Austin in the chat says, we only have 6 picks this year. If I'm being realistic, we don't waste one of those picks on a running back, quarterback, or a tight end, or safety. Ding, 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 ding. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If the Cardinals trade back that first round pick and they recoup into the third, then I could see running back going. And that's because the fan base wants Cam Skattebo, right? And obviously, the Cardinals use a top 30 pick on him, or they use a top 30 visit on Cam Skattebo. So they're at least a little interested to figure out, a little bit more of him personally. So the Cardinals are interested in Cam Skattebo, right? So I don't want to make it seem like the Cardinals aren't interested. They are interested in him. It's just obviously depending where he falls. But you're right. We got 6 picks this year. So if the Cardinals do decide to trade back that first round, recoup another third, maybe we can get him then. But right now, with where it stands, the only spot I would like to get him if he falls is the 4th round pick. That's it. That's it. That's it. Will Johnson. Yeah, I mean, Will Johnson, I mean, there's a possibility he falls. There really is. There's a possibility that he falls, right? And going back to this mock draft that I kind of cooked up, and like I said, it's mock drafts are a dime a dozen. Everybody's got their opinion. The only ones I'm really confident with these picks are probably picks 1 through 7. Everything else can be an absolute toss up. But if you think about the way the board has fallen, Jahdae Barron is still there. Will Johnson is still there. Kenneth Grant's still there. James Pierce Jr. is still here, right? If you're a fan of Nick Scorton, he's still available, right? If you're a fan of the tackles, Kelvin Banks is still there. Josh Simmons is still there, which the Cardinals has used a top 30 pick. If you're a wide receiver junkie and you want another wide receiver, Matthew Golden and Mecca Ibuka is still there. So, you still got a lot of good picks with the 16th overall. So, anything can happen, man. Anything can happen, truly. Let's keep it going. Is that the new studio mic? Yes. We still have a couple different things that we need to do here and there, but yeah, for the most part, it's at least 85% done. We do want to get a new helmet in this little section right here. Maybe put something on the wall over there. But other than that, yeah, man, this is going to be, we've been changing studios since we've been on a channel here. And I appreciate you guys for obviously joining the ride that we've been living this crazy dream of obviously covering the Arizona Cardinals. But yeah, this is the new studio. Absolutely love it. My wife's given me this sign 2 years ago. I was never able to use it, but now the new studio is underway. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's take a couple more comments here in the chat. A few people talking about JJ or TJ Watt. I mean, I know there's some people talking about TJ Watt. Unless he becomes available, I'm not even going to talk about him. We've already used up a lot of resources talking about Myles Garrett. We use up a lot of resources talking about Myles Garrett. We use a lot of resources talking about Trey Hendrickson, right? All these guys that could potentially be available. And it's the same thing with TJ Watt as well. Like, it's only hearsay, right? He's probably going to get extended by the Steelers. That's just probably what's going to happen. I don't want to waste my breath. I don't want to waste my energy on the thought of maybe. We already did that 2 months ago with Myles Garrett and we got burned, right? We already did that with Trey Hendrickson 2 months ago and we got burned, right? So I don't want to talk about TJ Watt unless he truly becomes available and the Steelers are shopping him. I'm not gonna humor it. Let's keep it going. Big eye in the chat says new studio looks. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much. Absolutely appreciate it. Adrian in the chat says just because we meet with Cam doesn't mean we are going to draft him. There are multiple players that got drafted by teams who never met. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, that's facts. Oh, you're 100% right. Yeah. So, here's the thing, right? The only reason why I said that, like, if you use a top 30 visit, you at least have some sort of intrigue, right? But you're 110% correct. Look at the top players the Cardinals have met with, right? You use top 30 visits on a certain amount of players, right? Let's just think about it. Let's say you use all 30 of your top 30. Most of those guys that use a top 30 visit on, they're probably first-round picks. If not first-round picks, second-round picks. You're not going to get 30 picks. You got one pick in the first round, with one pick in the second round, and one pick in the third right now with where we're at. So the guys that the Cardinals are meeting with, they're going to be projected picks 1 through 3, right? So you're 100% right. Just because the Cardinals have met with Cam Skattebo doesn't mean we're going to draft him. And that's why a lot of people that are looking at the top 30 visits, it's important to look at who the Cardinals have met with, because if you want to get some sort of projection on who the Cardinals are interested in, but doesn't mean the Cardinals are going to absolutely draft them because they have a top 30 visit with them. No. I mean, the Cardinals have met with Kenneth Grant. Cardinals have met with James Pierce Jr. Cardinals have met with Will Johnson. The Cardinals have met with 10 other first-round picks. Guess what? We got one first-round pick. I mean, it's important to know who the Cardinals meet with. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean you're going to draft him, right? It depends on value, where he falls. Do the Cardinals truly value him in that specific position? So right now, continue to talk about Cam Skattebo because it's a big talking point amongst Cardinal fans right now, right? Mel Kiper, draft guru, came out and says if he were to put a projection on for Cam Skattebo, and although he feels like it's really hard to put a projection on Cam, like he feels like it's really hard to put a projection on him, but he says he could maybe see him go in the late third or early fourth. If he's there at the 4th round pick, I'm cool with it. But right now, just like my guy Austin in the chat says, we only got 6 round picks, or we only got 6 rounds, right? 6 picks in this draft. So you got to be wise with the decisions that you go and not fall in love with the idea that, oh, man, I just love him because he's an ASU fan or an ASU player or former ASU player. I like him. I think he's a really, really good running back, but he's going to flourish in a position that he gets the opportunity. Right now, the running back core situation, you got James Conner and probably Trey Benson ahead of him. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how this shakes out. Oh, that's a good idea. A nice jersey on the wall would be fire. That actually sounds like a pretty freaking sweet idea. Maybe we'll put the Marvin Harrison Jr. icy white jersey in the frame I got over there that I used to have something else in there. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll put a nice frame of a Marvin Harrison Jr. right there, or maybe a Larry. I don't know. That's a good idea, though. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the idea. Adrian in the chat says 1/3 of fraction of a decimal. And then to a percent, round the decimal to 3 places before convert. The guy's doing math over here. Sarah in the chat says tackle Banks or Simmons at 16. I pick Banks. Okay. So Sarah wants to go offensive line. Cool. Hey, offensive line, I'm cool with. I'm cool with going offensive line. Honestly, I'm cool with going offensive line. But yeah, Cardinals can do anything, man. Cardinals can do anything. And I think right now, Monty has not done anything to not trust what Monty Ossenfort is going to do. He hasn't, right? He hasn't. He hasn't done anything that's going to warrant me from questioning what Monty Ossenfort is going to do. By the end of the tenure of Steve Keim, believe me, I was questioning everything general manager Steve Keim was doing. I was probably one of the first, or maybe this community was one of the first to question our former general manager, and people took a while to get there. Obviously, now a lot of people are talking about him now that he's gone. But, Monty Ossenfort right now has not done anything that has made me want to question him. I'm confident. I think he knows who the Cardinals are going to pick, or at least he's got an inkling of the players, the group of players he's going to want to look for at 16. I'm putting all my faith and trust in Monty Ossenfort. I'm going to allow him to cook, right? I'm going to allow him to cook. So, yeah, whether it's Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant, James Pierce, another edge player that he likes, an interior defensive lineman, whether it's a wide receiver, I'm confident, man. I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited. Nate says, "Why are people saying Monty's in the hot seat?" I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm curious to figure out who's saying Monty's in the hot seat. I think Monty Ossenfort had himself a great offseason. If I'm going to be real, I think he actually killed the offseason. There was concerns that he wasn't going to go after a big market name because he hasn't done it in the past. But I think it's timing, man. It's timing at the end of the day. I think Monty Ossenfort truly believed that, you're not going to use, your cap space on a big player year one when Kyler Murray wasn't available in the first half, right? Now year 2, he could have used more money than he probably did, but in his eyes, it was still year 2 of rebuilding, right? In his eyes. Year 3, this is it, man. It's put up or shut up time, right? I think he had himself a really fantastic offseason. Josh Sweat, arguably the best pass rusher, clamped him up. There was rumors that the Cardinals were going to go after Milton as well, but Patriots outbidded us, so good for them. Dalvin Tomlinson became available, like a cap casualty. We jumped on him, brought him in, right? Those are my 2 top favorite free agent pickups the Cardinals after. The other guys, I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And Monty Ossenfort, draft-wise, has been pretty solid. Has he made a couple different things, a little bit of a gamble here and there? I mean, yeah, but let's see what Max Melton can do in year 2, right? That's all I can say. Let's see what Max Melton can do in year 2. Because I hear the same thing you guys hear, right? The Cooper DeJean talk. The Cardinals should have got Cooper DeJean, right? And that's why I made the video that I did during draft night. Like, was the gamble worth it, right? Was the gamble worth it? Well, unfortunately, we're not going to know. But, Cooper DeJean does got himself a ring. But you also got to think about the situations that Cooper DeJean landed on compared to Max Melton. Max Melton was not put in a top 10 defense. Cooper DeJean was, right? So, their defensive line is far superior over the Cardinals, or at least back in 2024. So let's see, man. Let's see what happens. Now that we added more pieces, the pieces on the defensive line is only going to help our cornerbacks. So for what it's worth, it's only going to help our cornerbacks. I'm really, really excited to see what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do with the 16th overall pick. And I'm putting all my faith, all my eggs in a basket that Monty Ossenfort is going to cook something up good. So going back to why are people saying he's in the hot seat? I don't know. Unless there's a complete disaster that happens, like an absolute train wreck of a season that happens. I'm talking about a 3-4 win season. Somebody might be in the hot seat. Might not be Monty, but somebody might be in the hot seat. But it's going to have to take a train wreck of a season in order for big moves to happen. We'll see, though. We'll see. Let's take a look here. Max Melton will be good with the better front 7 draft. Yeah, facts. And that's the thing. Facts. That's the thing. Like, people are looking at, like, facts. 100% agree. Like, Cooper DeJean, although he's a good player, and I did like him. I'm not going to lie to you. I did like Cooper DeJean. I would love the Cardinals to get Cooper DeJean. Yes, I would. But the situation that he landed himself in is such a better defense than the Cardinals defense was. Like, let's be real here. Like, they pressured the opposing quarterback, and I'm talking about the Eagles defense, in like a second or two. Well, we allow ham sandwiches to be made back there. And of course, the longer you give a quarterback, they're going to dissect your defense. There's the talent for wide receiver and tight ends and these weapons. They're far too good to allow a quarterback to survey the field. They're going to make the throw. They're going to do these things. It starts at the line, right? Our Cardinals did not have a good defensive line on a consistent basis. We've changed that. And now let's see what happens. I'm excited about it. Oh, get rid of Sean Murphy Bunting, take Jalen Ramsey. Wow. Well, here's the thing. Jalen Ramsey, and I'm not sure if you guys know, Jalen Ramsey and the Dolphins right now are not in cahoots. They are not. Basically, he wants out. What's new, right? Everybody that plays with the Dolphins wants out. Here's the thing. Jalen Ramsey is 31 years old. And here's the other thing. He's paid up until the 2028 season. And guess what? He's got a cap hit in 2025 of 16.6. But it doesn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. In 2026, he's got a cap hit of 25. 2027, a cap hit of 26.8. A cap hit in 2028 of 36.1. Now, guaranteed salary does stop in 2026. But his contract, I will not touch that contract at all. That contract is horrendous. If he gets released, okay. But no. I am not touching that contract at all. His contract is ridiculous for a 31-year-old cornerback right now. Ridiculous. I'm not touching that. Give me the cheap Sean Murphy Bunting. Give me the cheap Sean Murphy Bunting. I'm not touching that contract one bit. One thing that we should realize and one thing that we should learn is that contracts like this eventually come back and haunt us in the next year or two, right? 2 or 3 years, especially if you're not a good drafting team. And now we feel like we're a pretty good drafting team with Monty Ossenfort, but I'm not touching this contract. No, not one bit am I touching this contract. Heck no. In 2028, he's got a base salary of $21.1 million. No way in heck. He's going to be like 34, 35 years old by the time his contract is done. I ain't doing that. No way in heck am I doing that. So if he gets released, okay. I mean, maybe if he goes on a vet minimum, okay, I guess, whatever. But nah, I am not trading for him. Nope. Let somebody else deal with it. Not me. Cards fan in the chat says no one liked McBride because Keim drafted him and he was known as a draft bust, but McBride was one of the few gems. I mean, at least in this community, I don't think anybody I've even heard mention anything bad about Trey McBride. I don't think anybody even mentioned anything bad about Trey McBride. Now, if you're talking about after year one, okay. I mean, I could see some people. I mean, but keep in mind, those same people that are talking about Trey McBride after year one, when Zach Ertz was clearly tight end number one, are the same guys that are probably talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. after year one. You know what I mean? And so, like, let's give them time. Like, you can't call somebody a bust after year one. You can't, right? You got to see how their season develops and what they do, right? So, it is, at the end of the day, like, it is what it is. Trey McBride is the best tight end the Arizona Cardinals has ever had, bar none. And it's not even close. Bar none. Ivan, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you, man. He says, I think our cornerback room is fine. Garrett, Starr, Clark, Melton, even Sean Murphy Bunting. And honestly, let me add somebody else to your list, Ivan. Elijah Jones. Third round pick last year, was hurt on the IR. Let's see what he can do, right? Let's see what he can do. And that's the thing, too. Like, originally, when people were talking about cornerbacks, I was like, I like our cornerback core. I really do. I think they're young, but I think they would only benefit from having a really good front seven. And we've made some upgrades. So yeah, let me add another one to your list. Elijah Jones. We don't know what he's going to be. A third round pick last year that unfortunately was on IR all year long. Right? All year long. But yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see. That's why I never really mocked Will Johnson to the Cardinals until this last mock draft. Right? I only mocked Will Johnson to the Cardinals only this last mock draft because I would like him. I think he's a really good player. I think he's a fantastic player. It's just I like our current quarterback state right now. Yeah, 100%, Ivan, 100%. Yeah. So Sean Murphy Bunting might not be with us, next year, right? Will he be? Yeah, of course he will. He's still under contract with the Cardinals right now. And he's still seen as a veteran. I think he's paid up until let's go and do a real quick fact check. Sean Murphy Bunting is paid until 2026, or at least his contract is until 2026. But this is his last year of guaranteed salary, at least per over the cap. So we might have him in 2026, but after that, maybe no more. Maybe no more. I mean, he made a few plays here and there. So for the people out there that really don't like Sean Murphy, is what it is. I don't trust our wide receiving core. I mean, you're. Let me just put it this way. There's a reason why I'm sitting here and saying don't roll it out, right? Don't roll out wide receiver at 16, right? There's a reason why I'm saying don't roll out a wide receiver at 16 because you got to think about it. I mean, like we can use an upgrade. We really can. Now, whether they decide to do it with the 16th overall pick, I mean, there's a 5 to 10% chance the Cardinals do it, or maybe even a 10 to 15% chance the Cardinals use the 16th overall pick with getting, let's say, for example, Matthew Golden, right? Which is a guy that obviously the Cardinals have met with. Will I think it'll happen? Probably not. But I mean, don't rule it out, man. Don't rule it out. Even if it's a 5, 10%, even 10, 15% chance, there's a chance. If the Cardinals really, really have it there, I mean, really, really don't rule it out. I think the Cardinals can very well use an upgrade. The only guys I feel confident in heading into 2026, not 2025, 2026 is Marvin, obviously, and then Michael Wilson. That's it. So the other guys I'm confident in. I like Greg Dortch, but I mean, how much more 1 years can we do? Zay Jones tried to revive his career, didn't really do very much. We brought in Tristan Jackson. We brought in Quez Watkins. We did get an undrafted gem that I still think is a gem, but the Cardinals haven't used him. Is Xavier Weaver? Maybe they give Xavier Weaver the opportunity. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, like I said, 5, 10% chance. Don't rule it out. But right now, I'm still favoring trenches. Primarily defense, but I'm not mad at the offensive side of the ball either. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a fantastic year for the Cardinals. We will be live during draft day. So for the people out there that are wondering, oh, man, I don't want to go to the Great Lawn. It's going to be hot. Yeah. And the heat is already coming here in Phoenix, Arizona, ladies. The heat's already coming. You blink your eyes and the nice cold weather is gone. But yeah, so we will be live during draft day, rounds 1 and most likely 2 and 3 because it's the second day. We'll figure out what we're gonna do in day 3. We most likely will, but we'll have to kind of figure out, see how that all shakes out. But definitely round 1, we will be live on the channel. So make sure you subscribe if this is your first time here. Make sure you smack the like button if you could do me that huge favor. Right now, we're sitting with over 60 people here on the YouTube side. So smack up the like button. Do me that huge favor right now. Appreciate you guys for being here. Let's see if we can hit 50 likes by the time we are done with this live stream. We're going to be ending the stream here pretty soon. So smack up the like button if you're watching me like this. Flip it over, bam, smack it up, and appreciate you guys for being here. Let's take a couple more comments, and then we're going to be closing up shop. For the new people, yes, this is the new studio setup. It's not fully done yet. We are probably 85% done, but we are going to start adding a little bit more here and there. I want to add another beautiful Cardinal helmet right there. And I have a really great idea by one of my subscribers told me that maybe putting a really good, cool Cardinals jersey right there with maybe like a frame. That would be pretty dope. So we're still in the works, man. We're still in the works. Let's take a couple more comments, and then we're going to be closing up shop. Appreciate you guys for being here. We got my guy Austin here, always with the gems. What's up, man? He says, later, O-line guys, I hope we are going to get Logan Brown or Willie Lampkin. Both solid guys to add to the line. Hey, man, I'm not mad at that one bit. Big Bird, what's up, man? Sean Murphy Bunting, is that Green Bay game completely sold? I was 100% out on him after that. Fair. Yeah, no, that Green Bay game was atrocious, man. Atrocious. We had a few of those games that our defense couldn't stop a lick. Right, like we couldn't stop nothing in a few of those games. It's very, very unfortunate. So, let's see here. World Life, absolutely appreciate you, World Life. Thank you so very much. Let's keep it going. Draft Ty Robinson. See you later. Love to see it. Hit the like button. Thank you. Moles, we need that frame jersey with a light kit. Has to be number 11. Ooh, that sounds good. I do got another light kit that I have right there that can potentially get the lights up and going here. That actually sounds like a pretty fantastic idea. And obviously, I think I'll have a lot more people talking about Larry than anything. So yeah, man, we'll see. TBD. All right, here we go. Let's take this last comment by Abram. What's up, Abram? He says we should just trade back in the first round to get a defensive line and accumulate more draft capital to be able to get not only players that we need but want. I have a feeling Abram is a very big fan of my guy Cam Skattebo. Just an inkling, just an inkling. But yeah, that's really the only way I would love to see the Cardinals go after Cam Skattebo. Is if he's available at fourth. If we keep our current draft picks right now, fourth is where I'm comfortable with in terms of value wise. If they do trade back that 16th overall to recoup another third, then maybe using that second, third round pick and maybe getting a Cam Skattebo. I'm cool with that as well. So yeah, overall, man, really excited about you guys being here. We will be live. We will continue the live streams, the live shows. So make sure you smack the like button here. Make sure you subscribe and put your post notification bell on as well, so you're aware when we drop the next video or when we do go live. Another shout out to my guy Michael here with the $2 donation. Thank you so very much. Big Bird in the chat says, would love Donovan Jackson in the second round as a starter at guard. Love to see it. Love to see it. Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be closing up shop right here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for obviously being engaged in the chat. Draft day is upon us. Well, I mean, not upon us, but it's 9 days away. I'm really excited about it. We're going to find out who the Cardinals are choosing with the 16th overall pick, and I am ecstatic. All right, y'all. Thank you so very much. Have a great rest of your day. As always, have a great Tuesday. Enjoy your families. The draft is coming. Good things ahead. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cardinals.